Alright guys, so I'm making this screen recording just to sort of help introduce you to how to use the video analysis software that comes with Logger Pro. For this assignment, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to choose a game to analyze the motion of. So I put this link here in the task sheet, and this is basically, let's do that later. How about tonight? I put this link here, and if you follow this link, it will take you to a website that has a bunch of projectile stuff. I opened it up over here also. Basically, any of these games have a projectile, and I think most of them will work. So you can go ahead and pick one. It doesn't really matter which one, but once you choose a game, then what you're going to have to do is play the game. And in the game, you're going to have to do a screencast to capture a short video when the projectile in your game is in the air. I'm not going to do that. QuickTime has a great screencast software. That's what I'm using right now. So if you go to QuickTime Player, in QuickTime Player, you can make a screencast really easily. Just try to make your screencast short so that you don't have a lot of extra stuff going on your computer. You really want to try and get it down to just when the projectile is fired in your game. So once you have that and you have it saved onto your computer or whoever's computer in your group you've decided to download it to, then what you're going to do is you are going to come over to Logger Pro. Let me open up Logger Pro. And you're going to need to insert the video into Logger Pro. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to come here to Insert, and you're going to go down to Movie. I'm going to click Movie, and you're going to have to go ahead and find your video. So maybe, you could have it saved to the desktop or something. I remember the one that I want is called Angry Birds. Should be this Mac. Angry Birds Test 2, I think. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this. And now I've got Angry Birds in here. And this is a short video from Angry Birds from a screencast that I made of the game. And we can see here, this is me playing the game in the screencast. Here I'm pulling back the bird, and there goes the bird. And we've got a nice projectile path we can watch for the bird that we're going to be able to track. But really the only part of the motion that I want is the part while the bird is in the air. So I'm going to go ahead and back up to right when it leaves the slingshot. Maybe that's right about... Oh, too far. No. Let's back up. Right there. And I think this button will let me actually... Oh, I don't want to go back too far. Here we go. Lets me go frame by frame. That's what I want. So right there. Right when it leaves the slingshot. Okay, now to analyze the motion, there are a couple things I need to do first. And the very first thing I ought to do is set up an axis. So right here, if I hover my mouse, you see it says set origin. So we're just telling it where x and y should equal 0. I'm going to go ahead and click that button. And now I've got these crosshairs, and I'm going to make the initial position right there in x and y our 0 point. I'm just going to click. So now I've got my x-axis and I've got my y-axis. Now the second thing I need to do before I can even track the motion of the bird, I have to come up here and I'm going to have to, let's use this one, set scale. I'm going to have to set the scale of the game. And this is probably just going to be based on mostly approximations. So for example, here's my scale. Let's go to a bird, and this is basically going to give me a certain length. I'm just going to draw the length of the bird. And this is why I'm really telling the computer how a distance in the game or on the screen corresponds to a distance in real life in terms of units. So how big is an angry bird? Maybe like a chicken size. Chicken, maybe a reasonable size would be like 0.25 meters. That's pretty chickeny. Okay, so 0.25 meters is our bird size. Okay, so now we're ready to start tracking the motion of the bird. So what I'm going to go to for that is up here, there's this add point. And what I am essentially going to do is I'm going to go frame by frame through the video, and I'm going to add a point to where the bird was in that frame in order to follow its motion over its whole path. So I'm going to click this button, and then I should pick one point on the bird to follow, because otherwise it's going to, sort of jump around a bunch. But if I pick just one place on the bird and I follow it the whole way, really I'm approximating the bird as being one point. So let me pick the nose. Let's say, I'm going to pick the nose. And I'm just going to click on the nose in each frame and sort of go one at a time, frame by frame, following the nose, trying to get as close as I can. And if it's not perfect, that's not a big deal. We have a lot of points. If you really mess one up, you could always come back, step back a frame, and put in another point. But I'm just going to go ahead and follow the bird for a while. I'm not going to do this for too long. And you can already kind of see, like back there behind here, we're starting to generate a graph. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do this for the whole path of your projectile, from when it's launched until it hits the ground. And you're only going to have to do this once. I know it takes a while, but once you've done this one time, you're done, and then it's basically just a matter of analyzing your data. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. You're going to want to do it until your projectile actually hits the ground, which would, take a while longer. But now if we look over here, I'm going to change back to this arrow tool. It's already started creating a graph for me. And here I've got my X and Y position versus time. And I can change these to any of the quantities I want. So for example, I might not want to have both of these on the same graph. If I don't want to, I think I could just right click and I could delete. Oh, I deleted the whole thing. That's okay. Just do insert graph. And here we go. There's my Y velocity versus time graph. And it looks pretty crazy right now, but that's, again, we don't have very many data points yet. Here's position versus time, vertical position versus time, and we can come in here and we can fit functions just like we usually do. So that's basically how to do a video analysis using Logger Pro. For this assignment, you're going to need to do 4 graphs: position in X, position in Y, and velocity in X and Y. And you're going to use those to do all of your analyses. So I think that's about it. I will see you guys in class. All right.